Hey guys, Neomis here. Now for today's video on this Sunday morning or afternoon, Ruben Neves has been linked with Arsenal, and I know some Arsenal fans are freaking out, but I do think that this isn't a bad option. And let me clear this up right now before anybody clicks off of this video. I do not see Ruben Neves as being the replacement for getting Bissouma, because I see Bissouma as being a backup for Thomas Partey, and at times to play with Thomas Partey. Ruben Neves is not the type of player that you get to be a backup for Thomas Partey. They're just too different. What Ruben Neves is Granit Xhaka's replacement. And that is why this deal with Ruben Neves is a good deal. It really is. Now, I mean, if you don't know much about Ruben Neves, Portuguese player, still relatively young, 24 years old, contract is ending in a couple of seasons. He's been at Wolves now since the 2017-2018 season. Pretty good players, is improved over the years, and I thought I would, I've got a few kind of numbers here. Currently valued, at least according to Transfer Market, at 40 mil. But when you think he's got 2 years left on that, you have to say that the most that is going to be is somewhere more like 30 mil. But I think Arsenal could get that down a little bit lower as well. On top of that, this past season, 5 goals, 2 assists for someone that, for me, primarily should be playing in a central midfield role, not defensive midfield. And I know at times he drops deeper to players like a DM, but the way how he plays, he's not a DM. You know, when you look at his numbers, like, what, a DM that scores goals, like, brilliant. But he's not a DM. He's someone that starts out in that central midfield, that deep line role. He takes the ball and he drives forward, delivering great passing, great playmaker skill. And that's what you want. That's what Granit Xhaka is supposed to be. And he is forward thinking. That's why he always is getting quite a number of goals. But he is not a backup for Thomas Partey, and he's not replacing Bissouma. Now, I do have to say this. I want to make this clear, though, that I don't think that we're going to get Yves Bissouma. I think that 40 mil is just way too much for a player that's going to be a backup. And like I said, I do believe that Ruben Neves will be someone to replace Granit Xhaka. And for this rumour to be dropping now, I wouldn't be surprised to see over the next few days that we'll start to get a lot more hearings that Roma or Mönchengladbach or even Inter start really seriously looking at Granit Xhaka and maybe putting in an offer. And maybe this is the reason why this kind of rumours come up about. But it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you go from someone like a Bissouma to then a Ruben Neves? And then in my video 2 days ago, or like a day and a half ago, I said that it was reported by Romano that Bissouma is a target of theirs in midfield, but he is not their main target for that central midfield role. And now we're hearing that it's Ruben Neves. And I've been saying that I could see Ruben Neves being a player that is linked. But even though I am right, and I always try to be right most of the time, you still need to get someone that's more in that kind of traditional DM mode, that's, you know, got height, got build, you know, that can outmuscle players off the ball, be real physical. Like, we don't have the backup version to that. So that's where someone like a Bissouma will come into place. I know a few days ago, last week, we looked at Lokonga as being that guy there. So there are still options. So don't see this, Arsenal fans, as Ruben Neves replacing Bissouma or replacing Partey. Like, he's not. He's going to play next to Thomas Partey. And that's what you want. That's the real key position that we really need, especially if Granit Xhaka is going to be going. And for me, the story tells us that Granit Xhaka is going to be going. But I like the sound of that. I'm not fussed with it. I think probably the key thing with this deal is getting the price right. Because like Buendia, and I know I haven't done a video talking about that, And I will only do a video talking about Buendia when it's all confirmed, because I've got a few options that I'm doing some research on that could help Arsenal Football Club out as well on that. But I'll get onto that later. The key thing about this deal getting done between Ruben Neves and Arsenal all comes down to price. Simple as that. Right now he's valued at about 40 mil, but you would have to think, because of the contract situation, like I said, you have to bring that down. Now, there comes to what is he valued now compared to what Arsenal could get him for. I would say that with 2 years left, he probably is valued at like 30. But with each month that goes on, depending on how he does in the Euros as well, because if he performs well in the Euros, his value is going to be completely inflated. And it's, for me, I think it's going to be very difficult for Arsenal to again go and get Ruben Neves, because I think that other teams will be like, that's a player that I want. They're going to go out and get him. You know, I genuinely do think that. But Arsenal themselves need to watch out for the costs, because like I said in my previous video, I don't see Arsenal going up to spend 30 million plus unless it's for a player that's in their first team. And Buendia, like I said in my last video, would have been someone that would have been closer to the 30 mil. But at most 35, and I know Villa got him for 35, or at least like it's looking like that to be the case. But I don't think that Arsenal will go up and be spending more than 30 mil to bring in a lot of players. Like your backups, like at most 20 mil, 15 and less most likely. But this rumour, it's looking like Granit Xhaka is gone. I'm just giving my thoughts. And you have to say Ruben Neves would be a good ideal person for that. Premier League experience. There's been at times, I believe he's played quite a lot as the Wolves captain. I think he also is the Wolves captain. That I'll have to go and check out. But I know there's been games this past season where he's captained the side, and you got to say that I really like that. Now, clearly he's shown leadership abilities, and when you look at some of the talks and positive things that Arteta has talked about Martin Odegaard, which is part of the reason why they're also looking to bring in a creative player, is that he talked about Odegaard's leadership ability, you know, the fact that he's captaining his national side. And, you know, you would have to say that you want to have that in your domestic side. Because, I mean, there is a talk that Arsenal kind of lack leaders out on the pitch. But in my opinion, I think if every player knows exactly what they're doing, then they're just going to go out and execute it. And the problem is that you have quite a few players that don't know exactly what they're doing in certain situations. And that's how things kind of fall apart. But Ruben Neves is a leader. And I think that this is an opportunity to bring in a good quality player. But not, and I repeat, not to replace that backup for Thomas Partey. To play with Thomas Partey. But I understand that a lot of fans will probably feel a lot differently from myself. So definitely leave your comments below on your thoughts on that. Do you think that Ruben Neves is a good signing? Do you think he's not? Yeah, I'm sorry if you disagree. I gotta disagree with you. But I'm interested to hear what everybody has to say on Ruben Neves. Like, would you take him at Arsenal, or would you not? And if so, then why? Leave your comments below. Remember to continue liking and subscribe to videos. It does help the channel out. And I will see you all next time on my next video, which will probably be either tomorrow or the day after.